Hey, what's happening, Ronin man here? Early morning in the jacuzzi. It's beautiful weather, man. This is California weather at its best. The birds are chirping. It's just like, it's insane. It's so warm and not hot. It's not humid. I love Thailand. I love, South Pacific, different areas, different climates. But there's something about the perfection of Southern California. I'm in Northern California, but it really feels like LA today. It does. It feels like an LA morning. And that's a funny thing. Six hours north, really sometimes exactly the same. Sometimes cooler, but basically many times the same. And it's just beautiful. As everybody knows, I don't know if you guys know, maybe actually I shouldn't say everybody knows, but a lot of it's called the bread basket. Like here in America, like everything's grown here. Things just grow. You just throw shit down. This tree here just fucking grew. Shit just grows. It's just every day you cut down weeds, they're just back. The fruits you throw, there's like a lemon tree. One of your fucking neighbors plants a lemon tree. You got a lemon tree. Because, you know what I mean? Like there's like roses down the street. Somehow those roses end up in your garden. And it's just insane. It's crazy. Like this season when everything's blooming and everything's ripening, the fruits and stuff, you walk down the street, grab an apple off someone's tree, they could give a shit. There's like a million apples. There's like a million lemons. I needed a lemon for my foot yesterday. I wanted to try some home remedy, and for this fungus thing I had on my toenail. And just like a lemon tree right here. There's a lemon tree where I was walking. There was a lemon tree at the house. This lemon tree, my friend's house. He's like, oh yeah, we don't use that. It's like a bicycle or something, right? That's California, man. This place is bountiful. And it's, kind of interesting. It's kind of important because I was, a lot of my youth was in the desert, in trailer parks, tough times. But I got very lucky. Very, very, very lucky. About third grade summer, my dad got a job in Southern California. And we arrived in San Clemente, and we got there, and he took us to the beach. And I remember looking at the beach. I'd never forget this moment. I could not believe it. I'm serious. You can't recreate these things. I think I had never seen the ocean before. I could not believe it. It was so beautiful. I couldn't believe anybody lived there. How could you live here? This is like a special place that you visit or something, And he's like, yeah, we're moving here. And I was like, I couldn't even, I just couldn't. We were down by the pier. We had a little motel room up above at this, I don't remember the name. I think it was San Clemente Inn. I can't remember what it was called. But anyway, we were staying there and I was looking at the water and it was just insane. I just, if you guys, the beauty of California, that's why it really bothers me when everybody's always like, California's totally fucked. It's just so stupid to me. I got no axe to grind. It's like saying a Ferrari's not fast. It's like, what are you talking about? Everybody knows they're fucking pretty fast, And California is pretty fucking nice. I actually heard there was going to be I just read a headline only. I didn't read the whole article, but I can feel it. I read a big headline. It said on Drudge actually today, saying there might be a big shift to the right in San Francisco and LA. And so, politics and geography don't have anything in common, They don't. And same politics and technology don't either. That's why I always loved Priuses. I always loved hybrid because I thought it was a very interesting technology, So interesting. You can use a battery, charge it when you're braking, and then use that power to go forward. I was like, that is amazing. My friend bought the very first Prius. Not the first one off the line, but the first year. My friend in Japan, and he took me driving, and it was quiet. It would stop at lights, and it was just, I was like, wow, this is a cool technology. It wasn't until, in Japan, there's no politics around hybrid. It's just something a Japanese company made, If there's any politics in Japan, it's by Japanese. There is politics there, but other than that, there's nothing. I came here, and everybody's like, oh, only this kind of political person would have a Prius, and that's the only. I'm like looking at these people here, sometimes I think people here are just retards. I can't even understand how they can spout off. And I mean people that kind of think the same way I do too on many issues. They're so weird. It's like, dude, technology has nothing to do with politics. Zero, man. I thought it was a very challenging thing. I was surprised that Ted Toyota could do it. given the state of technology back then. You know, the battery they had, the nickel, really simple sulfate, I think it was, real simple battery, you know, and it didn't catch fire. They didn't catch fire, those Priuses, you know. And then and so technology, it's weird. People have these like fucked up things that it's like everything here is tainted by politics. And I really urge you to separate those things, because life is great. I've been telling people, like, California is fucking awesome. Like, I don't give a shit. This place is awesome. And many places are awesome, but don't be misled by your own fuzzy thinking. You know what I mean? Even if someone said it and, you know, you read it and you think you're a victim, you're not. Don't be misled by someone else's fuzzy thinking. Straighten up, clear out your mind, realize, separate. Places have nothing to do with politics. Nothing. When you're unblackmailable, they just don't. You just glide through them. You know, I lived in a communist country. I lived in the communist country, communist China, for 10 years. And I'm not communist, but I loved it. I had a great time. And I even saw a few things that they did that were better than here. And I bet you a lot of people on this channel would agree. I'll give you one or two right here, real quick. One of them was when they want to make a subway system in a big city, right, to make traffic better and to make life better for people, they get engineers to design the best design, okay, for the subway. And then they announce the subway's coming in, okay. Then they give notices to everybody who lives where a subway station is going to be, and they buy their house, usually in Shanghai. In the countryside, this gets corrupted, but in Shanghai, usually it's about two times the price that it's really worth. So you got a $500,000 house, you get $1 million, and then you have to move. You cannot stay. It's for the good of everybody. The subway comes in, it's built very fast. There's no legal challenges. They just they have the technological digging the subways, putting them in, testing them, getting the technology right, starting, taking money, tickets, boom. You got yourself a city with a fantastic, and I do mean fantastic, like the Chinese government has done a great job with public transportation in big cities. I mean, it's amazing. You know, it is so, I could go on and on, actually. It makes us look like idiots because we can't get anything done here. We just can't. Everything is debated. Everybody's got to say, I understand everything and this and that and this and that. But one of the things that keeps me safe and keeps me healthy, okay, and I highly recommend doing this, is ignoring a lot of things and just saying, okay, ignoring your past views, ignoring what people would think of you, ignoring everything, ignoring what party you're in, ignoring this. Just look at things, okay, and say, is this smart? Is this good? If nobody knew what I thought, what would I say? And I would say, you definitely should put a subway into a fucking city. Of course. Look at the cities that don't have one. I don't know if you guys ever been to Mumbai and cities like that where there's no subway. Oh, I was there when there's no subway. It's a nightmare. I remember before they put the subway in Bangkok, it was, oh man, you would have to time your flight because if you got in the traffic, like one time I landed Friday night, flew in from Tokyo Friday night. I think it took me 4.5 hours to get to my hotel. Of hell, okay, 4.5 hours of hell, and just terrible air. Like we were just moving at walking speed. I found out later I could have walked in probably 3 hours from the airport to my hotel, so I could have actually walked. And it's just ridiculous. It was just ridiculous. But they got to do it in these big cities. It's different. No, I'm not saying do it in your city. I'm not saying anything. I'm saying Bangkok, population density. It makes no sense, okay, to not put a subway. Nothing. In Alaska or in the outback, you don't build a fucking subway. Even in LA, there's not enough people. You won't have enough tickets. It won't be viable. But in places where there's shit ton of people, okay, and a lot of those people don't have cars and no parking spaces, it's best to make a subway and make it as quickly as you can and cheaply as you can. And that will make everything go up. Everything is better, right? So things like that are just beautiful in communist countries. They really are. You just feel like a kid again. You just like, you have all your toys there and you move them all aside and you get other toys. You're like, fuck it. I'm playing Indians and cowboys now, you know. I'm playing G.I. Joe now. I'm bored of this, you know. And that's in the cities they just do that in Asia. Now, that's it. I see the truth in that. Okay, I won't go any more deeper because you don't need to. There's truth in that. Same with the Prius. I love that technology. When the electric cars came out, I don't care about global warming. I'm talking about that. I like the technology of, I drove the world's fastest electric car back in '92 and I almost cracked my neck. My friend was the driver in Japan. Had slicks. It was fucking amazing, man. Swear to God, I felt like my guts, I accidentally pressed the pedal too much. Felt like my guts all went to the back. And it was dangerous, and my neck, even though it was only like probably a centimeter off the pad, it felt like it was gonna crack. It was intense. I don't know what the G's were, but dude, it was scary. I realized your body's not infallible. He told me not to press it hard, and I didn't mean to actually. I just pressed it, and it just threw me back in my inner guts, because it was on a racetrack. I was at Scuba racetrack, and I just thought, fuck, man, electric's the future. And then I started thinking, like, what if I had a diesel-powered lamp in my house, right? Say everybody had diesel-powered lamps, right? Here's why I like electric cars. Some of you guys don't get it, like, because you think it's like some kind of other thing. It's just simple, right? So imagine you had a diesel-powered lamp, diesel-powered radio, diesel-powered television, whatever, gas-powered blender, whatever. And all these things were in your house. You had smoke in your house all the time. You had to open your windows all the time, and you had fans and, like generators outside. You would think it's normal. You'd just be like, okay, open the windows, yeah, get it out of there, Life's not perfect, son. It's the way it is, I saw electric, and I'm like, this is the future, man. I know people that died in cars in cold areas where they left the heater on. They were like boning some chick, and they, like on Lover's Lane, and they died because they suffocated. It's like stupid. I didn't see gas cars. Plus, they don't have any power compared to electric. Electric is insane power. So I saw it as a very bitchin' technology, and I still do. I still see it as the future. I can't see anything run on gas or diesel in the future. No fucking way. No lamps, no cell phones. They're never going to switch to diesel. Everything switches to electric, it never goes back, right? Maybe it'll be wireless electric. But anyway, this is the kind of thinking, right? I don't separate. I don't get into the debate. I just see the truth and hold on to it. This sounds like a simple thing, but it is deep, man. It is deep. Just finding the truth. Don't let people, like, sometimes people will try to drag you into something, like a conversation that you're just not going where you can just feel they're dragging you into some old debate or conversation. You don't have to go into that. You're an adult. You can just say, kind of in your mind, I know where this is going. This is like, this person's not open to change, right? They've made up their mind. They're like just making a point, and I will get frustrated talking to them because they're not going to listen. They won't really change. There's no chance that they're going to be an open-minded person who actually changes their views, right? And I think that's basically my fundamental building block when I talk to you, whether it's Unblackmailable, my friends, people I just met, or in summits or whatever. There's no point in talking if you've already decided you're not open. You know what I mean? If you think there's no way you're going to change, and then you're going to try to change, that viewpoint is what most people have. That's why people don't. They already decided. They're like, I'm not going to change. This guy is not going to change my mind. I know what I think. I can't really understand it myself. I always go into every debate is like, who knows? I don't know. Like, fuck, I don't know. Maybe it's best to be whatever, SJW, I don't know. Let me hear. Let me, and I'm not saying I do this every single day with the same topic, but I do this, and I'll show you an example. So when my mom just left, she was here, and we both love healthy food. Me and my mom both love healthy food. Me more than her. Like, all I think is I just want healthy food. That's it. I don't really care about taste at all. It's not that I don't care. It's that I see old people with problems, and I know it's related to diet, and I don't want that. I refuse. I want my DNA, the very best that I have. It's like an engine. I keep it running as good as I can. Okay? That's what my goal is with my body and my life. And the taste of food is so insignificant to that, compared to happiness, second chances, living another 10 years of writing a book of things I want to do, things that I desire to do, finding new parts of myself, like I did this morning, before this episode, discovering new things about the way I think and about life, You know, I want to enjoy life to the fucking max. That's why. And I don't put life to the max versus the taste of food on the same level. I just don't. You know, and also too, I've learned that if I eat pure healthy food, it's kind of like listening to good speakers. If you turn off the loud music, you turn off the shitty bass, the treble where it's like a the bass like boom, 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 boom. You listen to like JBL 1412s, any kind of studio monitor. Listen to them for a few weeks, not too loud. Just listen. Put on a very well recorded album and just sit there. Get a glass of wine, get a glass of coffee, whatever, and just sit there and listen. And your ears will start to slowly heal from all the cacophony of fucking just blasting everything around you. And after a while, it takes a while, first it'll sound very boring. You'll start to hear the real bass, and you'll start to hear the real sound of a cymbal, the sound of any high voice. And you'll start to realize, like, this is I can't say you will. I have, and a lot of my friends have, is start to enjoy the real sounds of life. And you hear them with an accurate speaker. But you have to slow down. If a girl uses, and this is, I believe this is true, if she uses a vibrator every single day, a really high-powered vibrator, she is limiting her ability to really enjoy a loving sexual relationship. I'm not saying don't use a vibrator. I use a vibrator all the time on girls, but it's like too much. It's like if you desensitize yourself, your ears, your senses, with something, eating all sugar, if you desensitize your taste buds, then you basically go into outer space because you no longer can enjoy this world we're in, I mean, some people wouldn't even come outside today because they'd be inside, because it's perfect in their kitchen or whatever, their living room, so enjoy. This is all we got, man, is this world, right? This tree here, there, the stars up there, the Milky Way, the earth down there, the water. This is what we got. Oh, by the way, my leg is healed and I'm getting, let me pull it up here. Let's see if I can wiggle it up here. Getting these stitches taken out today. That's it right there. Yep, getting them taken out. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Surgery was a success. From all thing point to it now, and very happy. So what do you choose to be today? What do you choose? A philosopher like Adler would say you choose everything in your life. And that is, I actually agree with him, but it takes time to kind of go into that. So I won't go too deep into that. But I'll just say, like, let's just say in this day, there's choices. There are choices. And here's how you can change the day. If you have a let's say a negative viewpoint on today, right? You can just think about it, right? How many days is that? How many days? 1 day, 2 days, 10 days, 10 years? A lot of us choose our personality at about 10. Okay, so some people it's going to be 40 years, 50 years, right? Now, think about this, okay? You're going to think, I'm a product of this and that. Yeah, things happen, and I talk about that. I talk about all kinds of personality disorders and how to get over things and difficult subjects. But think about this. So why do you think of the last time you got angry at somebody, right? Really angry. Did you choose to get angry? I was thinking about it for myself. The last time I got angry, I chose it because I felt like somebody was not respecting me and listening to me. And it wasn't even about that point. It was in general. And I just thought, no, I'm not going to let this happen. Because if you let something go on too long, you become that, right? I'm like, no. It doesn't even matter what the topic is. Like, no, I have my thoughts. I have my things. I'm doing my fucking stuff, right? And so I got angry in a way to tell the person, hey, can't push it that far. Cannot. Doesn't even matter if you're right or wrong. Doesn't matter. It's like, I don't want to be controlled by anybody. Okay? At the bottom line, I have my faults. I try to change them, and I change them a lot. Right? But I don't put myself on that, what most people do. They're looking for, basically, well, most people aren't even like looking for change. When they do change, it's usually because they're forced to change. But I don't. I know that I will choose good choices. I trust myself, right? A lot of people don't trust themselves. I trust my very being. You know, I trust my being to be okay. I trust myself inside myself, you know, to delve deep into my mind. And I won't get into the details, but I'm not afraid of what's in there, including like deep psychedelic experiences. I'm not afraid of what's inside my mind. I am not. I welcome the deep inner recesses of my mind. And I didn't always. When I was younger, I thought I was a bad person when I was about 21. I remember. I did. Now, of course, I could go into why, but it doesn't matter. The basic thing is that's what I thought at that point. I thought that deep inside me there was like some kind of dirt or some kind of gunk or something. You know what I mean? Like there was something in there that was just like not cool. And of course, that was many, many, many decades ago, and actually had some realizations that totally erased that. And I don't mean like some thought here. I mean, I realized it was based on a false premise, and I was like, whoa, no way. And I realized that here's what I realized too, is not only was it based on a false premise, but it was implanted by somebody who was jealous of the fact that the exact opposite was true as me, is I was a very good kid. You know what I mean? I was a loving kid. I had a lot of testosterone, so don't get me wrong. I did bad things for sure. I mean, bad, whatever they are. You know, I didn't listen to people. I definitely made mistakes, no doubt about it. But that was what a boy with a lot of testosterone needs to do. Let the horses run, boys. Let them run. Let yourself make those mistakes. Let yourself make those mistakes because you have to. You can feel it in your body. If you fight them, you're like a priest, not doing what you know you want to do, you should do, you're born to do. And then all kinds of neurosis and all kinds of explosions, crap comes out of that. Even if it's not good, let your horses run, man. Go and learn what you need to learn when you're young. Let them go, man. Let them go. You know? And, you know, I did. And I feel very, 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 very glad, you guys, you young guys. I cannot tell you how many guys were not like me. Did not let the horses run when they were young. I let the fucking horses run. I took the chances that I knew my body was capable of, and some of them I wasn't sure, but did anyway. Anyway, I was up to the challenge, so I must have subconsciously known. I had a deep desire to live and a deep survival instinct and the ability to implement that into real life, and I do, and I did. I looked for the red line when I was young. I always want to go, people say, don't do this. And I was like, well, why not? And they'd say, well, that doesn't matter because this, you'll die and this and that. And I'm like, wait, to me, that was never enough. Never. You know, I need to find out what happens. I need to see it for myself. I need to go too far or just to the very fucking edge. You know, one time we borrowed a car. I mean, I was racing it. It was a Bumblebee. It was a Bumblebee. It was a Nissan 210, but it was a Bumblebee because it was a fancy 210. It wasn't fast. Okay, it was a 4-cylinder, just a full economy car. It looked like a shitty bug, a copy of a bug or something. Anyway, and I was up in the tomato fields doing donuts and going off trail. We're going up and down these trails, just maxing out the suspension all the time, doing donuts, spinning. And we got to one side and I just felt this is as far as I can take it. And I slid the car, stopped right on the fucking edge of the cliff. I literally could not even stand outside the car. If we would have gone over that cliff with no seatbelt, sideways, me and my friend Brad, we would have, I don't see how we would have lived. It's 100 something feet for sure in San Clemente over the tomato fields. Which is kind of behind Shore Cliffs, right? And in between Shore Cliffs and Pico, right? There's an area that's now high-end houses, and I do a lot of filming in that area. But that's that was my a lot of my boundaries as a youth were tested in that field with snakes, with homeless people, with fights, with everything, making bugs for biology final and tests, and I learned so much about myself and people in that field. And often when I go into deep meditation, like meditative change, when I really want to change myself, I go back to the tomato fields and I talk to myself. And myself, my 13-year-old self, is hiding in a cave in the tomato fields. And I talk to him and tell him, hey, look, it's okay. You can go out of here. Things are going to change. Things are, I first went into the cave in my mind and he wouldn't even answer. But I knew he was in there, And now he talks back. And someday he's going to walk out of there, So anyway, that's one of the techniques I use to not only change in the moment, but change the narrative of my entire life. So we choose what we want to do. We choose. And you can see it in other people. People that get real angry at people, look at them. Just really look at them. They are choosing that. Because, like I read this book, but the phone rings and, they're in a different voice. It's because they're choosing that for a reason. That's fine. We all do that. But you need to be aware that you're choosing that anger. And you're like, why do you choose that? Why do they choose that? A lot of it is to maybe to get other people to listen to them. Like, no one listens to me, so I'm going to be angry. And then you have to listen to me. You have to be at my beck and call. And there's a deep insecurity inside some people where they don't feel anybody listens to them. And the only way they can get people to listen to them is by throwing a tantrum. And that's a technique that they used when they were young that worked. And they maintained that that is still a good technique. It's a coping mechanism is what it is. It's a coping mechanism. Their emotions were very strong. They didn't know how to stop it. They couldn't process. They were too young. No one was there that they could recognize that could help them. And so they got angry and the person backed off. And so they see it as a technique in order to get some space and freedom. And then they realize that people apologize to them, walking on eggshells. And then they, I want that, right? See, I don't want that. I don't choose a life like that. I don't want you to walk on eggshells. It's hardcore debate and truth. And I really mean that. I really love that. One reason why I like hanging out with really smart guys is that they can point out any kind of mistake in my thinking or rationalization. If they don't point it out, they'll get close to it, and then I can point it out. They'll be like, wait a second, why? So why did you, And then I'm like, I was fucked up. That's why, And I desire that, not because I want to be wrong. It's because I don't want to be static. See, and that's what most people choose. They'd rather be static. They'd rather have their coping mechanisms and just move on. If you're happy with your coping mechanisms and the way life is, right? Your personality that you've chosen, I am this way. I say let it all go and attack things one at a time. I can see now, especially through Ronin, man, like talking to you guys and getting your reactions, I can really see that the hard times of my life are truly what defined me. Because it wasn't the hard times, but it was my reaction to them. Is I wouldn't let it stop me. I wouldn't. As a kid, I just wouldn't. No fucking way. And I saw other people around me letting it tame them. And I was like, no, I won't be tamed. I won't be tamed. I won't be tamed. And I always love those movies where the guy resists torture to the end and gets killed. Because that's me. That's me. I just won't give it up. and if it comes to that, it comes to that. Because that's my philosophy. I just won't be broken. Unbroken, man. I met those guys. I met the guys. I went to see him speak. The Japanese Ministry of Finance had the ex-POWs speak. That was about, how many years ago was that? Fuck. 3, maybe 4? About 4 years ago. It's still online if you look for it. The whole thing. Oh, maybe you shouldn't. You might see me in the audience. But anyway, actually I asked a stupid question too. It was really dumb. Yeah, I was so enthralled with these guys' story that I stood up and they waited so long to call me. I actually forgot and I just said something really dumb, which was, we're not perfect, right? But at least I stood up and tried to ask a question, I wanted to ask a question. And I went up and afterwards and took pictures with them and shook their hands. Not because I worship them, because I am like them. I respect them as the epitome of me. These are the guys unbroken. They're the guys who they really got tested in ways that I've never been tested. And so as much as I feel like them, I respect them because I've never been tested that much. I've never been in a prisoner of war camp. I wasn't in the Japanese prisoner of war camp, which I know were excruciating and difficult. You can read the book Unbroken or watch the movie Unbroken to know what I'm talking about. But, that's what I value that, okay? I choose to value that. And as a kid, I was that way. I'm like, you're not going to break me. I no fucking way. That's what I believed. That's why I love Cool Hand Luke. Now, I think the end of the movie was bullshit because I think his character would have never broken. I just don't think it would have. Now, in some ways you could say it didn't break, right? But even as much as it did, I think they wrote that in because sometimes they just got to they can't make a movie about a guy who fucks tons of chicks, makes money, has a great life, tons of good friends, and just sees people living in hell around him. Nobody wants to watch that. You know what I mean? They want excuses. They want a movie where the guy goes and gets revenge, because they give some excuse for it, right? His family's kidnapped and then he gets to get revenge. See, it's because he wants to be heard, okay? He wants that and he looks for that. And then here's the opportunity in the movie, right? But it's just a Band-Aid because the truth is everybody that's watching the movie feels that because they know their life is total shit, right? I don't choose that. I see the truth, just like I talked about the communist government and subways. I don't care about the overall debate because that blurs the truth of the moment. The truth is, it's better to have a subway in a busy city, okay? There's no fucking debating it in my mind. I've lived in many big cities with and without subways, and I can tell you that there is nobody in Tokyo that would ever vote take the subway down. No way. Fucking no way. I'm not saying we should build them. See, don't read into that. I think self-driving cars are going to solve it even better. But until now, that's been the best way. I think that, Elon Musk came out with a way that's going to be better, even better than a public transportation system. Because one of the problems is you don't go to exactly where you want to go. You have to always go to these other places. It distorts prices of real estate. It distorts crowds. It wastes time. There's a lot of compromises, which are way better than sitting in traffic for 4.5 hours to get to your hotel when you could walk faster, right? So we make the best we can at the time. I think self-driving cars where you can go across New York for $1.20 of electricity and no human driver is way better. I think it's way fucking better. And you don't even need a car. You don't need a parking space. You call another one, they come. You go. This is definitely going to happen. It's just a question of how long will it take for the government to allow it and how long will it take technology to develop it. And I think it's getting very close. Okay, whether you like it or not. It's kind of like solar panels. I didn't like them. I wasn't pro-solar. I always thought it wasn't going to work. And now I admit I'm wrong. They're very efficient now. They're super efficient. I was absolutely wrong about solar panels. And if you're wrong about self-driving, I mean, I'm not saying you are, but if you are, just say, hey, laugh about it. Don't go into this like I'm talking about here, where you just go into this fucking confused state where you put everything together and you justify and tell people that, like, if people have to memorize a story about you in order to understand something too many times, you're getting off topic. Just say what you think. I think that's better. Yeah, I think 12 moving parts instead of 20,000 is better. That's why I like electric cars. I think more efficient. I think that I forgot what it is, electricity to, basic power to usable power or whatever they call it, is like 10 times higher in electric over gas. There's a lot of wasted heat. That's energy, right? There's a lot of waste energy, right? So I like more efficient. I don't like to take my car in my garage and sit in there with the engine running. Why not? Because it's fucking unhealthy, okay? Same reason I don't smoke in a room, because I don't like it, right? I just don't like to breathe shitty air and hurt my lungs. I'm not into that, right? I'm not into that kind of stupid thing, okay? and like it or not, pollution from the car in front of you is going in your face, okay? The truck in front of you, you're breathing it when you're on the freeway. There's fucking no doubt about it. They can do parts per million and check cars next to freeways, and you can see it's very unhealthy to live next to a freeway. The farther away you live, the better from any kind of congested road. And if there were no combustion engines, cities will become much more livable. And also there's the sound factor too. I don't like to be sleeping and hear, like what I used to hear in Bangkok, a very loud motorcycle wake me up. I don't like that. I like to sleep at night. I don't like loud engines outside waking me up. I like the sound of an engine, don't get me wrong, but not as much as I like sleeping, okay? I love the sound of a two-stroke. I mean, don't get me going on two-strokes. I almost can make exception for them. Not really, but you know what I mean? Like romantically, emotionally. Two-stroke engines on motorcycles, like they're fucking insane. If you've ever driven a really fast two-stroke, it's almost like sheer ecstasy for a man, if you know how to ride. It's just like, just like fucking just maxing it out, just fucking, you're just using everything that's there. It's a fucking fantastic feeling. It's a different feeling than just going fast. Is you're doing it. You take somebody else on that same bike, they won't be able to do it. You're doing it. Here's sound right here. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Another loud thing. I prefer an electric car going by. I don't know about you. I don't like that. Right? But I see the truth in the moment and in myself. And some very deep spiritual awakenings have happened recently for myself. And I got to tell you guys, is I'm no victim. I am so grateful. I am so deeply grateful. Every part of my body is grateful for one thing, is I don't have to wake up every day, even though I wanted my daughter more than anything in my entire life. And there's nothing that would ever change that. There's no compromise I wouldn't make for that. But sharing custody with her would be so miserable, so terrible, that I am glad I don't have to. I am glad. I have my own choices in life. I have a totally clean slate, and it wasn't of my own making. I really tried my best. And here I am, in freedom, total freedom, emotional, mental, physical. And I do want to do one last summit before I go back to Asia about this kind of topic. And it's all the things I've talked about. Happiness, what is it called? Like deliberate choice, ability to rewrite your life, change, and choosing things that are ultimately not a compromise, not a survival skill. Because the problem with survival skills is they have drawbacks, okay? So if you put a blower on a car to do a drag race, you'll probably do very well in the race. But there's a compromise. The engine in life is very short, very short. So that's how a coping mechanism works. At some point you say, you know what? Maybe I don't need the blower on here, Maybe the life of the engine is more important now than simply beating my friend in a race, right? My values have changed. And allow yourself to change. Because a lot of times we're scared to change. Oh yeah, I was going to say, one of the things I really realized here when my mom was here, we went to health food stores and ate at health food stores every meal, except for one. We went to a Mexican. And we were looking at each other, and everybody there except us had a different political philosophy. It was very obvious. But you know what? Everybody there at this very hardcore, probably it's called Staff of Life, one of the best health food stores I've ever seen in the entire world. They've got hot food, but you got to be there early. Get there 10:30, 11 in the morning. Get your hot food. It's fucking awesome. Get yourself a killer, whatever yogurt. Get yourself some fruits, some blueberries, blackberries, whatever. Yourself organic mango. Get a plastic knife. Go do it. And I realize I like to eat that way. And the way I eat is not the way a lot of political people who think similar to I do eat. I eat with people who are almost always different, completely different politics than me. And I also look at their bodies. And I'll tell you this. When you go to Staff of Life, look at the girls there. A lot of hot chicks. And a lot of them are older too. Age isn't the only factor in beauty. Youth is very important. I mean, men know that. Girls can make all the excuses they want, but age matters. I'll just say that first. But your diet that's the reason why people look so bad today. And these girls that are like, not granola eaters, because granola is usually not healthy. No, the real health food eaters. The ones that go to the health food store, eat every meal, and they never eat the crap outside. they fucking are hot, dude. I'm telling you. I saw a girl, I don't know, she's probably mid-30s. Dude, she was, oh, I'm serious, half her age. Good place to pick up chicks, actually. A serious health food store. You just look around. If it's a good health food store, people will have been going there for 10, 20 years, and their bodies will have adjusted. They're not on some fucking diet. This is their life. And I can really appreciate that. And I think people that don't see that are kind of idiots, because politics is a very small thing in your life. Your health is what, you're a car, okay? If you can't drive places, you can't do anything. You can't experience life. You're so limited. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a key thing, right? You need to be able to get out there and do things and love and fuck and climb and run and get angry and go to new places and swim and, you know, take that challenge of learning that, whatever it is that you want to learn, that difficult thing, you know, and all that requires energy. That all comes from food and sleep and water. And those people have it going on. So look, you look at me from the outside, you see me in health food store, you probably think I'm a certain person. You see me loving electric cars, you probably think I'm a certain person. But you guys know, at a very deep level, I'm not. But I see the good in others, and I take it. I'm not gonna not take it. It's like a fucking berry, man. If there's a fucking peach here that's tasty, I'm gonna grab it, man. And I'm gonna eat that sucker and just enjoy that fucker. Let it ooze all over, man. I love it, man. That's the way I take life, you know. And if someone wants to put me in a box, it's fine for them. That's like a prison for their own mind, you know. I don't need that shit. I see it. It's available to me, but I don't want it. No, I want the freedom to choose, and that means really, truly freedom to see the truth and change. And you will be misunderstood, okay? Some people won't have the full explanation. They'll just see you as a certain way. And you have to be able to roll with that. And even that will teach you things. Who doesn't accept, right? Who judges, right? And you'll realize, man, life is pretty complicated, right? In the same way as it's so simple. The choices you make, the way you see life, the ability to be happy, it's all within your grasp. I want to talk about that in depth. So anybody's interested in that, let me know. I'd like to do a summit based on that kind of topic, basically happiness, how to be happy, how to let your old self go. Now, don't come if you aren't ready to change. If you're not, you know what I mean? Be ready to change. If you're ready to change, if the timing is right for you, right? For new changes, fly wherever you got to fly. Come to the next summit, and we'll get as deep as we can. And it's not just me. There's other guys who've caught onto this philosophy. They're going to be there, and they're going to be like being able to point out stuff and help you in so many ways. So I'm hoping to be able to do that. If we can't do it, I would love to do it in LA. If anybody has a house in LA or has a friend in LA, has a house, I would love to do it in LA just because it's a new place, like close to the beach, LA, not, you know what I mean? Like if it's the valley, I mean, I guess we can do it, you know, we'll get out there, but it would be good if we could be closer to the beach. So here's the options. Somebody has a house in LA, somebody wants to Airbnb a place that's big enough. Those two things. If you really want to do it and you want to choose where it is, that's fine. Run it by me. Don't just rent it. Run the dates, run the place. But if you want to come and you don't have anything to offer besides yourself and your willingness to change, you are 100% welcome, my friend. 100%. And I want to meet you as soon as possible. So let's do it, man. Let's figure out what we can figure out. All right. Let your old self go, man. Let it go, man. It's an old fucking skeleton, man. It's an old skeleton. All right, guys. Look forward to hearing the debate on the bottom, man. I love it. I love the questions. I love the debate. I love everything, man. I'm here, man, and you're there. And let's get together, baby. Let's do it. Why not? All right. Later.